Welcome to this explainer. I'm just incredibly thrilled to have you here today because we're tackling something that has plagued, honestly, almost every single one of us at some point. I'm going to share a secret drawn directly from some truly fascinating source material. Falling asleep in exactly 2 minutes is actually easy. Yes, you heard me right, 2 minutes. It sounds like a total superpower, doesn't it? But as we're going to see, it's entirely within your grasp. So let's dive right in and see exactly how this works. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever found yourself lying wide awake at 3 a.m., just staring up at the ceiling, absolutely agonizing over some incredibly embarrassing thing you said at a party way back in 2014? It's a universally frustrating experience, right? Your body is totally physically exhausted, but your brain has suddenly decided it's prime time to review your absolute greatest cringe moments. We've all been there, and frankly, it's just agonizing. Section 1, the 3 a.m. trap, escaping the sleep spiral. So when you inevitably hit that late night mental spiral, conventional sleep experts will usually tell you to go out and buy like $500 blackout curtains, or they insist you need to sit up and meditate. But honestly, when your brain is looping through a decade-old social faux pas, meditating is literally the absolute last thing you can focus on. The source material tells us really clearly that the real solution isn't some fancy, expensive nighttime routine. The real solution is actually a mechanical trick designed to quite literally shut down your brain's processing. There's a core truth we need to establish right now. Quote, "The real solution isn't a fancy nighttime routine. It's a mechanical trick to shut down your inner monologue before it starts spiraling." End quote. This completely changes the paradigm. Sleep is not some mystical state of mind that you have to somehow woo with expensive curtains and deep breathing. It's a mechanical process. If you hit the right switches, the whole machine just powers down. Section 2. The military method. Physical shutdown. 2 minutes. That is exactly how much time it takes to easily fall asleep once these physical tactics are fully applied. I know. It sounds completely impossible, especially if you're used to tossing and turning for hours. But when you begin to treat your body like a machine that's strictly following a shutdown procedure, well, that rapid descent into sleep goes from being a fantasy to being completely achievable. Now, what's really interesting about this is how aggressively straightforward the approach is. You initiate the military method by forcing complete physical relaxation. Basically, this means actively commanding your body to power down. You're relaxing your jaw, dropping your shoulders, and systematically releasing tension all the way down your arms, through your torso, and finally down to your toes. You aren't just gently coaxing your muscles here, you are actively commanding your body to let go of its tension. By stripping away that physical stress, you cut the anchor that's keeping you in a waking state. Section 3. The cognitive shuffle, hacking the inner monologue. And this brilliantly illustrates what to do if your body is relaxed, but your mind is still completely stuck in 2014. The mental solution is the cognitive shuffle. It's a mental exercise that prevents your brain from overthinking by scrambling its processing. Instead of trying not to think, which, let's be honest, we all know is a losing battle that just creates way more anxiety, you give your brain a nonsense task. You do this by visualizing a random sequence of completely unrelated objects, like a bicycle, a toaster, a cloud, a shoe. The primary goal here is simple, but incredibly powerful. Stop the spiral before it starts. The reason this works so well biologically is that it mimics the random, disjointed thoughts we naturally have right before we fall asleep. By actively shuffling your cognition with harmless data, you're essentially tricking your brain into thinking it's already drifting off. And that stops that dreaded 3 a.m. anxiety spiral dead in its tracks. Section 4. Sabotaging your rest, the hidden hurdles. Let's move to and see how this builds, because even with the best tricks, there are hidden saboteurs that will keep you awake. Standard, weak blue light filters, the kind most of us just casually toggle on our phones and laptops, they just aren't enough. The source material completely dismisses these weak filters as insufficient. To make these mechanical sleep tricks actually work, you need to adopt extreme settings. You literally have to severely and aggressively cut out the light signals that are tricking your brain into thinking the sun is still up. So, the crucial point is this. Your last meal of the day might secretly be sabotaging your rest. Think about it. You could be perfectly physically relaxed and mentally shuffled, but if your digestive system is working overtime because of a late dinner, your rest is totally compromised. Pushing your last meal a few hours earlier clears this final roadblock. Timing that last meal properly allows the body's natural sleep mechanics to fully take over without any internal distractions. Which brings us to our final, incredibly important question. Will you finally pull the mechanical plug on your inner monologue tonight? You've got the tools laid out right in front of you now. You know that rapid sleep doesn't require a $500 curtain or an endless night of frustration. It just requires you to treat your body and your mind like a mechanism. So, I challenge you. Try the military method for physical relaxation and pair it with the cognitive shuffle to scramble that overthinking brain. Adjust your screens to extreme settings, watch your meal timing, and see if you can hit that magical 2-minute mark tonight. Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with me, and hey, here's to finally mastering the mechanics of sleep.